Hello YouTubers and welcome to another Shapes.io video. And I'm coming back to you with another little update on my one machine to rule them all. I'm going to show you a cool little trick that I had to come up with because in the circuits, I don't know if you see my previous videos, but there was a little thing where if in my color selectors, if a channel is not selected, like you see these wires are dim, they are not zeros. They are acting as if they are not connected. And this is actually kind of true because the only item that connects these lines to whatever goes active here is those transistors there. If they don't get any signal to activate them, then they act as if they're not connecting to anything. So that's why you don't get a true zero. It acts as disconnected. And for my color factory, that's fine because the filters that they're connected to, if they are active, they let the item go through. But if they're not, they're off and they block the color that I don't need. So that works out pretty well in this setup where I don't even need a trash can on these filters. But there are cases where you do want a zero. And I'm going to show you cool little trick I had to come up with to make that work. Let me see if I can find it. There's a lot of stuff going on here. Well, in this case, like if the way my circuit's set up is that if there is no color coming in, I have a comparer, and the comparer does put out a zero. That's good because on the factory that will be painting the this is going to be the factory that will be painting the pieces for the shapes. Uh, if it goes active, which these are right now because I'm using the color white for all four corners. You don't see. I'm not. They're not hooked up yet, but this is where the paint would come in. This is where the shape would come in. Now, if I wanted to paint them, the shape would have to go through this path, and that would also split off into these painters and go off into these outputs. If there's no color, I don't want to paint. So what this filter does is it bypasses all the painters and goes directly down this belt. So it's acting as it should be, but it needs a zero for that to work. And fortunately, the compare and the inverter that I'm using down there does that for me. Now, another little thing I ran into is because since we only have two wire colors, there come times where you have to run wires right next to each other and you have to switch the colors. But my factory, my circuit here is using the green wires to pull the signal for the color I need. But you can't just readily switch. You can't just switch the colors, right then and there. They won't connect to each other, so you can't have a green wire talk directly to a blue wire. Even with these crossovers, these little junctions here, the if the wire colors are different on the opposite ends of the crossovers, they act as if they're not connected. But if you do this is a transistor again. The transistors pass color values too. So if you just feed it a constant 1, and then whatever signal comes in behind it will get passed through, but you can connect it to another color. So that lets you change wire colors to pass the same signal. And that helps me route the signal so I don't interfere with all the other stuff I have built. Now, this contraption here, this is a cool little BC that I came up with. Those belt readers that watch and see what is coming down those belts. They also have a color and a value. I think this goes active when there's items passing through the belt. But this is also measuring what is passing through the belt. In this case, it's the color white. So that part of the circuit that I showed you earlier with the transistor, this is passing the color value that I'm processing for that corner to this compare, and it compares it with what's coming down this belt. So that in effect is telling me if the color I'm currently getting from my color factory is the one I need to be sending to the painters. So now we have an AND gate here, which is being fed a constant 1, and if this goes 1, then this output goes high, and it turns on this filter. And the point being is that when you switch shapes, like you just completed, 25,000 run of whatever current shape you want. You want to now the hub will show you the next shape you need to process. The colors might change, the shapes might change. So I don't want to feed the factory any more white, and I want to wait for the color mixers to produce the proper color, if any, for that corner, and send that proper color down into the system. So this is basically a smart filter that lets me uh, ensure that the factory only gets the actual colors I want. I'm going to be applying this to the shape factory too, where I already have up here the setup for all the shapes that I'll be using for these color painters, and I want to apply the same technique to them so that when shapes when I transition from one, I finish one run of 25,000 or whatever for that current level to the new one. I want all the mixers to stop making the current color, um, stop sending that current color until they switch over to the new one, and I get the proper color. And same with the shapes, I get, they stop sending whatever shape was being processed before and clear out the system so that the next batch will actually show, the proper shapes. That way I don't fill up the this thing with, tons of random shapes. This is already what I've had done since I started playing. I really don't want to fill that up with, 10 million random shapes when I start running this factory. Because when you transition from one shape to another, you're going to end up with a lot of random colors and maybe some randomly stacked stuff, and I don't want to see that. So that's the whole point of this. And as I'm saying, I'm still working on it. I'm slowly getting there, but patience. All right, well, that was all I wanted to show you. Leave a like, leave a subscribe, do the cool thing. You know what to do. I'll see you all later. Have a good one.